today, Saturday, February 15th, 2025. Welcome back to U&I Talk Show. My people, today I will be speaking to you off camera, talking about the whole continent of Africa. If you have questions, please come and ask your questions. It's an open mic show. So come and ask your questions. Let me start by putting the link. I'm gonna put the link in the description if anybody wants to come and speak. And then on top of that, as you can see, even I'm not on camera today. So for all the people who had issues that they can't be on camera, well, I'm not on camera either today. So come and not be on camera as well. I'll be taking questions, and then so as usual, we're gonna start in English, continue in French, and end in KinyaRwanda. So I'm in the new studio. As you can see, I'm testing out the new studio. So it's better I fail off camera. By the time I come back on camera, I will know how this new studio is working now. So do the QR code and tell me if the QR code stuff is working on the side there. I'm training to when I'll be telling you about my new book, my upcoming new book. So I'm displaying my old book already. So that was my very first book, and then the other QR code is the display for the support for U&I Talk Show. Let me know if you're getting it, if it's working. I see Ayana Mahoro. Oh, I see you. I see Ayana Mahoro. Thank you so much for being here, my people. Notre sœur préférée, my people. Thank you for being here. So, what are we talking about today? We're talking about the whole continent of Africa, as I was saying. Oh, I see somebody in the studio already. This somebody in the studio. You want to talk? You want to say something? Let me know. Let me know. You want to talk? You want to say something? Okay, one moment. Let me put you on air. All right, my people, we have somebody on air right now. Thank you. You're on air.
Hi, how are you? This is my first time here, and I would like to thank you for the opportunity that I'm on air. I was just trying it out, and then I have a question for you. Um, what gives you the courage to be outspoken and to be able to speak to for the voiceless? That is my question because it takes a lot of courage with what's going on in Africa. It takes a lot of courage. What gives you that courage?
All right, thank you very much. I will remove you from the show and then answer your question. Thank you very much. All right, my people. So, what gives someone the courage? What gives me the courage to speak out? It is pretty much my philosophy, which I am sharing in my upcoming book, in my new book. It's about knowing who you are and knowing your own power. So, as our ancestors used to say, know thyself. So I talk about knowing myself and knowing my real power, and this is something that I will share with the rest of the world. What I have discovered about myself can also help people, because the same law that applies to me, the same law that I have discovered, the same laws that applies to everyone. So knowing the law, knowing myself, and knowing Imana, the supreme being, is what is pretty much giving me, as the common people would say, the balls to speak. A lot of people, Rwandan people, are so scared, and most people are even scared for me. They're like, oh my God, Louise, they're going to kill you. And then I'm like, yeah. Well, and then what's that gonna accomplish? If they kill me, they're gonna make me stronger, because if I am this strong in the body of a tiny little woman, how strong am I going to be as an infinite spirit, which is now not limited to being imprisoned in a body of a tiny little woman? Not so tiny today, because I'm getting a little bit fat. Could be why I'm not on camera. But anyways, you understand what I'm saying? So this is where I get the courage to be laughing at the criminal dictatorship as they try to oppress people, and as they try to control everyone, and as they try to act as if they will get away with their crimes against humanity, but they cannot get away with their crimes against humanity, because there is a law that is above them. And even though humans may trash the law that human law, and they cannot trash divine law. So knowing divine law and knowing my identity is what gives me the courage and the balls, and also what makes me, instead of being this is actually, I was going to talk about this today, these people who are tribalists, who are only concerned about their own tribes, and who are willing to go to war because of tribalism, because of their one tribe, instead of seeing the entire continent. I love this image, because it shows the whole continent without borders and just Africans. So people who are seeing only their little tribe, as the Kagamistan in Rwanda does, by seeing only himself and only his only little tribe, and he's willing to go to war in Congo to destroy our fellow Africans, and working for the destroyers and the colonizers of Africa. This is like a whole other level of ignorance, masquerading as strength, posturing and talking about conquering people with the military. This colonizing mentality that even the colonizers try to use on Africa. But for as long as Africans had their spirituality and knew who they were strong and they were resistant. And this is how and why Africa has survived this far, because of the strength of the African spirit. And this is what Africa has to come back to. And this strength, this spirit, is not based on any existing religion. It's not based on Islam, Christianity, Judaism. This is based on ancient African knowledge, So this is why I can't wait to share my upcoming book, which I'm so happy to tell you. Like I told you, the QR code, I'm practicing advertising my books, because I never used to advertise my books. But the new book, I'm going to have to talk about it all the time, because it's so useful for so many people to exactly develop self knowledge. And as you know, knowledge is power. So self knowledge will give you self power, And then, yeah, you'll be out there ballsy going after whatever it is that you have to go to, because you will have the knowledge, which gives you the power, which gives you the self confidence to do whatever it is that you came out here to do. The other knowledge of ancient Africa is that, we are out here on a mission. We are out here on a mission, and everybody's out here on a mission. And this knowledge will help everyone find out their mission and go for it, because you may even be here and you are wasting your time, or you don't know what your mission is. So that's what's happening. So let's get into these people who are tribalist and who are just fighting for their own selves, and then they don't even realize how much damage that they are doing. I'm going to share my screen, and even though Facebook has blocked me, again. Crazy. So I'm on my backup. I'm on my backup on the backup Facebook account. So it's just to show you some of the stuff that I had been posting. Just to show you what we are talking about, and people who have tribalized their cause instead of looking at the entire continent. And right now, the man on the screen is the man who all the so many Africans were talking about. We're gonna go on X as well. We're doing a review and review of the social media, right? So this guy, as you know him, the Kenyan guy, Raila Odinga, huh? So used to losing, right? All his life he's been losing, and so many Kenyan people were against him. Actually, it was the Kenyan people who campaigned against him so he may lose when he was running for Africa, the African seat, which was won by the Djibouti representative, who is a serious diplomat. Unlike this guy who was boycotted by his own nation. And why was he boycotted by his own nation? Because he's been serving his own interest for so many years. And the latest betrayal of the young people in Kenya is when he decided, instead of supporting the Gen Z, which was standing up for their own rights, which is within their rights because they are the sovereign. And if the employee, the politician, the president is not serving them, they have the right to rise up and ask the employee to go. So instead of the employee accepting that the people have said no, what does the employee do? The employee refuses to go, and on top of that, starts abusing his employers, killing the youth people who are revolting, the Gen Z, who everybody, the entire continent loves the balls of the Gen Z, because they know their constitution. Once again, they're empowered by knowledge. They know their constitution, and their constitution says that we, the people are the sovereign. I say we the people because I'm with the people, and of course that sometimes I be identifying as Kenyan as well, right? So Kenyan people who know their constitution, they know they're the sovereign. They know if the employee, the president, and all the politicians are not serving them, that they have the right to fire them, to protest. The politicians reacted by killing them. And this man had an opportunity to support the young generation as the opposition. But what does he do? He betrays the Gen Z and goes for his own personal purpose. So just so he could get the seat, he betrays the Gen Z, and he goes on and campaigns for the African seat, and now he just lost it, right? So this is what people are talking about, and which brings to these other tribalists of the Kagamistan. And people have been talking about Raila Odinga, that he will be cursed because he went and was looking for support from a president who has been fired pretty much by his own employers, the people, the sovereign, who have been campaigning hashtag. So he goes and supports the oppressor instead of the people. And then he goes and he works with Museveni, who is also highly protested. As you know, the Ruto government allowed for Kiza Besigye to be kidnapped from Kenya to Uganda, and now he's like almost dying because he's unjustly imprisoned in Uganda. This man ignored all that and went into some pact with the president of Kenya. And this is why he lost the confidence and the vote of his own people, who began to campaign against him. And now he has lost the African seat, which went to Djibouti, you know. So which actually shows that Africans will are ready for meritocracy. This is meritocracy. This is Kenyan saying that he's not even qualified. He shouldn't even have that space, because all the time that he's been an MP, that he's been in politics in Kenya, what has he accomplished for his own people? And now he betrays Gen Z. Unacceptable. So they are like, we have a better chance if we elect somebody else. We have a better chance. Also, maybe a younger person, because this person, 80 years old, he's been in politics all his life. But who has he enriched? Who has he brought prosperity to? He has brought prosperity to himself. And he's still campaigning for himself against Gen Z. So he was rejected, you know? So this is a great sign that Africans were, especially Kenyans, were not interested in supporting their own and being tribalist. They were interested in the greater interest of Africa, and they actually went against their own candidate because he's supported by their president, who is not serving their interest. So this shows a very high level of political maturity, which I salute from the Kenyans. You know, this is why I be identifying as Kenyan. Unlike, all right, let's get back to us in Rwanda and Congo. Oh my goodness. Unlike in Rwanda and Congo, unlike in the Kagamistan particularly, huh? The Kagamistan, which is completely a tribalist regime, which has been denounced by its own people. And despite Rwanda being a country where, if you go by those, without going into depth, and you go by those official tribes, Hutu, Tutsi, Twa, they only have 3 tribes. But Rwanda has been known to be a country which is fighting tribalism. And the Kagamistan in Rwanda, despite the fact that he claims and pretends to be a Pan-Africanist, but he's a tribalist who has his entire army, his entire government, all the key main role given to his own tribe. And then he goes into Congo to fight a war for his tribe, not fighting for African interest, actually ready to serve the colonizers and the destroyers who are destroying Africa, just to serve his own tribe. And even within his own tribe, the they only a tiny minority of them is actually benefiting from what the Kagamistan is doing in Rwanda, because it only benefits him and his tiny little family. So another tribalist is this man Thank you to the person who posted it, Robert Patrick Fatiga Quere. This is another man only because of their tribes. The guy Willie Manzi, who is actually known in Canada, was known in Canada and has been nominated by the Kagamistan in Rwanda to go and represent M23 in Congo. But he's actually known as a Rwandan, and this is another image of him in Canada, where he lived in Canada, where he was known as a Rwandan, where he allegedly came to Canada as a Rwandan, but now he has been nominated to go and rule over Congo by the Kagamistan, allegedly. So, allegedly, these people who are tribalists, who hate their own fellow Africans, but then they still have little issues because they are willing to work with white people, serve white people against their fellow Africans that they see as inferior. So they have an inferiority complex towards white people, but at the same time they have a superiority complex towards the rest of Africans and the rest of the people in Congo. And this is why they kill the Congo people in such a barbaric way, because they don't even see them as humans. They see them as Hutus and inferiors and what they're calling Bantus, and then they see themselves as Tutsi and superior, and they give themselves that right. So I'm calling out these tribalists of Rwanda and sometimes who identify as Congolese, but just so they can be at war, destroying the Congolese. And so one of the latest, as this man has posted, is RDF, Rwanda Defense Force, appointed Manzi Ngarambe Wili as vice governor of North Kivu. He's appointed by the Kagamistan in Rwanda because this is who is behind everything. On February 5th, 2025, Rwanda Defense Force appointed Manzi Ngarambe Wili, a Rwandan national and a cousin to ICC convicted war criminal Bosco Ntaganda, alias Terminator, as vice governor of North Kivu in charge of administration. Their fathers are brothers. Prior to this appointment, he served as RDF M23 diaspora chief coordinator. During his ICC trial, Bosco Ntaganda repeatedly stated that he is not Congolese but Rwandan, born in 1973 in Kinigi, Rwanda. Now, his notorious cousin, Manzi Ngarambe Wili, has been resurrected by the RDF and placed in key leadership role in North Kivu, raising serious concerns about Rwanda's continued influence in the region. Notorious assassin Manzi Ngarambe Wili, along with his wife and children, had been living in Gatineau, Quebec, Canada, a country known for democracy and human rights. However, he abandoned the safety and stability of Canada to wage terror, butcher innocent Congolese, and contribute to unprecedented social and economic atrocities in Eastern DRC, Democratic Republic of Congo. Two critical questions. What compels a man to abandon the comfort of a democratic nation, leaving his family behind, only to spread terrorism and carnage among his fellow human beings, especially in a country with no ties to his nationality, citizenship, or heritage? Did RDF, Rwandan Defense Force, M23, fail to find a true Congolese Tutsi or any other Congolese for the role of vice governor, or did they deliberately choose their ruthless Rwandan enforcer for the position? This further underscores Rwanda's deep-rooted interference in the Democratic Republic of Congo internal affairs, exposing the manipulation and control exerted by Kigali's regime over North Kivu's leadership. And this was written by RPF Gakwerere, a military corporal for more than 3 decades. My people. So this is what we talk about. People who are only interested in their own, in their own in their own little tribe, who are not serving Rwanda. That's why we call them the Kagamistan, who are not even serving really the Tutsi at large, who are really serving themselves, but hiding behind the Tutsi tribe, behind the Tutsi victimization story. This is what is happening. Again, another more positive example would be the example of Mali, would be the example of real Pan-Africanism, like Dr. Nyamsi wa Cameroon wa Africa, who is currently in Mali to launch his new book, who is a serious true Pan-African, and the country of Mali, who have been fighting l'imperialisme, l'imperial terrorisme. This is the new book by the Professor Nyamsi, which for sure I will be buying on Amazon and trying to get Nyamsi if he's interested in an interview. This is people who are working for the entire continent of Africa, unlike the criminal dictatorship of the Kagamistan in Rwanda. These are people who are working for the entire continent, and what they have been accomplishing has been beneficial for the entire continent, my people. So this is what we are denouncing today. Some of these tribalists among us, among Rwanda and Congolese, who are just serving their own interest. And then I saw some people in Congo also denouncing that some people in Congo are also tribalist. And I can tell you that they can never be as tribalist as the tribalist of the Kagamistan in Rwanda, because they're the ones who actually went to war to defend the interest of their tribe. And they're the ones who only be talking about their own tribe. And even Muhozi and Museveni in Uganda talking about only their own tribe. People saw what they had been posting, and then of course they find people to use, they find their own propagandists to use. The latest one, who is doing the job of cleaning up the image of the terrorists in Congo and the criminal dictatorship of the Kagamistan in Rwanda, is surprisingly this guy Rutendo, the Rutondo guy, who had actually been, we thought that he was an activist because he used to speak about Zimbabwe being under sanctions, and he was fighting against the sanctions against Zimbabwe. So we thought that maybe he was an activist, but it turns out that allegedly he has been corrupted and bought by the Kagamistan, and he's now even interviewing the terrorists in Congo, lying that this is an unexpected opportunity. And I'm responding to him, telling him that there is absolutely nothing unexpected, that this was well planned, and that he went there knowing, and that he's now allegedly a paid propagandist of the criminals of the Kagamistan in Rwanda, because allegedly that he works with his own government in Zimbabwe, and his own government in Zimbabwe is playing a double game, one side pretending to support Congo, and on the other side also supporting the Kagamistan criminal dictatorship in Rwanda, which is invading and plundering, killing in Congo. As you remember, Zimbabwe sent some teachers to Rwanda, to the Kagamistan in Rwanda, but this is a trap from the Kagamistan in Rwanda just so they can get Zimbabwe support, because they have on purpose destroyed education, destroyed teachers in Rwanda, only to turn around and import teachers from Zimbabwe. Come on, guys. So This guy is the latest one to be bought by the criminal dictatorship of the Kagamistan, allegedly, and to start serving them and try to give good publicity to the terrorists in Congo. So you can see the comments on the post that I gave, and then you can visit him and tell him what you think about it. Salute everyone who's in the resistance against the criminal dictatorship of the Kagamistan Rwandans. So people saying how sad it is, because salute to Nyamuhoe Masawa Katabana, who is a Congolese activist as well. It's sad, and so we are asking questions. He has become some sort of intellectual mercenary or intellectual prostitute, people who are willing to sell their brains, to sell their voice, to sell their microphone. I have a mic, I have a voice. So imagine you sell your voice, you sell your mic to a criminal dictatorship which is killing and plundering because they can pay a lot of money. So this is why you become like an intellectual mercenary or an intellectual prostitute, because you don't have a cause. You're not serving the interests of the people. You're not serving the higher truth, ma'at, justice. You are serving the interest of one criminal dictatorship. So Masahawa was saying how it's sad, and I was saying how it's even dangerous, because if someone can sell themselves to the criminal dictatorship of the Kagamistan in Rwanda, what can they not do? What can they not do? This is really going low. I salute Michel Mushimimana, who is from Burundi. I salute the Burundi people who are in the resistance, and everyone who is not going to be like these intellectual mercenaries and intellectual prostitutes, and also these lost Congolese people who will betray their own people, their own country, to serve the interest of the criminal dictatorship of the Kagamistan in Rwanda. So thank you to the people who voted and defeated the Kagamistan in Ethiopia. Ethiopia! I salute Reverend Christine Coleman. She's into MAGA Africa. She's a fan of Trump. She has actually met Trump. She is a Republican, an African American woman from Rwanda. And she posted, she's like, Kagame's Rwanda defeat has begun. The Kagamistan, the criminal dictatorship of the Kagamistan in Rwanda, the defeat has begun. Rwanda was defeated in a bid to secure a seat on the African Union Peace and Security Council. Can you imagine the mockery? The mockery. Rwanda is disturbing peace, killing peace, disturbing security, killing security. Millions. People have died. They have killed millions and millions of people in Congo, plundering and killing. This is what the Kagamistan in Rwanda does. And yet he mocks peace, and he wants to have a seat on the African Union Peace and Security Council. Man. So Rwanda was the only one to vote for Rwanda. This is so funny because, as you know, the Kagamistan in Rwanda wins elections by 99%. He's used to forcing and forging and faking election result, winning by 99%. The moment of truth has come. Rwanda goes on the African level where he cannot win by 99%. And guess what? He gets his real result that he would get in Rwanda if we had real elections. He would win 1%. So even right here in the African Union, one vote. Only the Kagamistan voted for the Kagamistan, yo. So the Kagamistan in Rwanda was the only one to vote for Rwanda. Seems like everyone knows what the Kagamistan in Rwanda is doing in Congo, except for the Kagamistan himself. The time of isolation and sanctions has begun. Congratulations to Ethiopia, who won the bid representing East Africa. Congratulations to Ethiopia. Ethiopia, well deserved, because Ethiopia has always represented the whole continent, and it tried as much as possible to maintain its peace and security, tried to resist the colonizers and the colonization. So, congratulations to Ethiopia for winning instead of the scam of the Kagamistan in Rwanda, right? So let's go into the comments and see what you guys are saying in the comments uh, before I um, before I before I move on to the before I move on to the thing. So how is this? Let's see. Okay, so can you see your comments on the screen, or like how is it? Because I'm seeing them, but what? How come it's not on top of the thing? Okay, let's try that one. Why does it do that? Okay, my people, let me know if you can see the if you can see the and keep talking about this issue, and it will also take questions in French when we move into French, and then we'll also move into the KinyaRwanda. I will also move into KinyaRwanda. One thing that I wanted to speak to people on the KinyaRwanda section was I don't know if you guys saw it, that the Kagamistan in Rwanda was talking about how if he's about to die, and people ask him how he wants to die, giving a story of a woman in the genocide, who, when asked when they were about to die, how they wanted to die, and then he chose to spit in their face. I don't know if you guys have seen that story. I'm trying to find the video. If someone has a link to a video on it, or on Facebook, please show it to me. Show it to me right now, because I don't know where the video is on Facebook. So, anyways, they were talking about how he actually got that story from his own people that he had sent to infiltrate and to make the genocide worse. Uh, as you know, Judy River wrote a book about how the Kagamistan had actually infiltrated Rwandan military, infiltrated even the people who were killing the people who were seen as Tutsi, and so that he could just make things worse, so that he could take over among the chaos. So this is allegedly how he eventually got the story of this woman, because this is the same guy. When he's asked about, are you in Congo? Is the Rwandan army in Congo? He has the audacity to claim that, oops, I don't know. He doesn't know if his own army is in Congo, and yet he knows what happened to a very old woman, who was so let me show you that video before we end, and then we're gonna move into French. We're gonna move into French right after that. So I think this is the video. Let me bring it in. Okay, my people, can you see it on the screen? Yeah, so crazy madness of the Kagamistan once
Another,
again.
without a second thought, I'll turn my guns to the existential threat, as if the other one doesn't exist. We are not dealing with a situation that is new to us. We have faced existential threats for years. We had the worst tragedy in '94. You really come to me and start threatening threats for defending myself?
So you see how he's using that same victimization tactic. He's the one who has invaded in Congo to plunder, to kill. He's the one who has committed genocide in Congo. The Congo has not attacked him and threatened him. And yet he is now portraying himself as a victim and bringing in the genocide story. And he forgets that people now have found out that during the genocide, he wrote to the UN to prevent the UN from intervening. He's the one who started the genocide. He assassinated two presidents, the president of Burundi and Rwanda, to spark the genocide. He infiltrated the militia who were killing the people, the Tutsi, and so that he could make the genocide worse, so that he could take over among the chaos. But until today, in 2025, he is in Congo. He denies that he's in Congo. And then when he's questioned, when he's challenged, when the people resist him, when he's called out and exposed, when people are about to sanction him, he comes back and he pretends to be the one who is the victim. My people, what is this? What is this? This is perversion of the highest order. He's now trying to portray himself as the victim, but he's the one who have created so many victims. Millions and millions of people in Congo have been killed by his army, the Kagamistan criminal dictatorship in Rwanda. But he's about to bring in the genocide and pretend like he is the victim. Let's listen.
Threatening sanctions because I'm defending myself, and you think I have any iota of fear for that?
He's actually very, very scared. He's always scared. Why he gotta go all the way to Congo? And he's always inventing new enemies because he's scared of everyone. He has betrayed everyone, and he has created so many enemies for himself. So he is actually so scared. But look at him out here talking about, you think I'm scared? You think I'm scared? He wants to go to war with everyone. He wants to commit suicide and in this war, and he wants this war, since it may kill him, to kill the maximum amount of people. Don't fall into his traps. Don't fall into his manipulations and his fake victimization victim card, when he is the oppressor, the oppression. He is the killer, the plunderer in Rwanda and Congo and beyond. Mozambique, Benin, you know all about this. The main issue that Africa has is to have this kind of leaders who are ready to betray their own people, betray Congo, serve the interest of the colonizers, all while still pretending to be the victim. Just this is the main issue right here. Let's listen.
You know, I gave an example during our last 30th commemoration in my speech.
So that's the story that I was telling you of an old woman. So he now identifies as an old woman, eh? He is the oppressor, the killer in Congo, but he's about to identify himself with this old woman facing death. So
I told people how an old woman, during the genocide, before they killed her, the killers asked her to choose how she was going to be killed. And the answer to them was to spit in their face. That's what this old woman did. So you can imagine how much I'm going to spit in the face of anyone who tells me to choose between which death I should face.
So he's actually in this war in Congo, he's actually spitting in the face of everyone because he knows he's going down, because he knows that the Congolese may have been resisting much more than he ever expected, because he knows he's exposed. So what does he do? He escalates the conflict. This is his way of spitting in the face of everyone, escalates the conflict. But at the same time, this story of this woman, as I was saying before, allegedly we have found out. How did he find out this story of this woman? Because this is the same Mr. I don't know. Huh? He doesn't know if his troops are in Congo killing and plundering, but he knows this story of this woman during the genocide because allegedly, my people, as you know, as Judo River had exposed and people have testified, he had infiltrated the killers, sent in his own RPF soldiers to help participate in the genocide against the Tutsi. So they know what happened. They participated in the killing. So they went and told him about this particular woman story that they went to kill, and this is what happened. This is apparently, allegedly, how he knows this story. Can you imagine the level of cynicism? Like, not only this woman that he's portraying as a victim was killed by his own people that he sent to infiltrate the killers, but also he's now portraying himself as a victim, trying to be this old woman, but also he is the oppressor and the killer in Congo. The layers. But also, he's the guy who had assassinated two African presidents to provoke a genocide. But also, he's the guy who wrote to the UN to ask them not to intervene in Rwanda just so he can take power by force. The layers and layers, my people. Mm, mm, mm. So, thank you to everyone who is not fooled and who is boycotting and who is resisting the madness of the criminal dictatorship of the Kagamistan in Rwanda. You see, he was giving interview to Jeune Afrique. We all know about the Jeune Afrique situation. All right, my people. So let's move into French and keep talking about it before we move into KinyaRwanda. Thank you. All right, my people, continuons le show. Donc aujourd'hui, nous sommes samedi le 15 février.